get back in mode, in screen mode here. So we are thrilled. Hold on here. We are thrilled tonight to have Dr. Patricia Perez with us. She's the founder and president of FAMA Foundation. I won't read through all of her accolades here. And in the invite, you saw that she's an award-winning educator. But I think one of the things that struck me very strongly was this middle one about focused on promoting educational excellence through equity in order to overcome institutional barriers that confront underdeserved students of diverse backgrounds. So we, as the LGBTQ community, we definitely understand the diverse backgrounds and underserved students and are eager to partner with FAMA. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Patricia, who also has slides to share. So Renee, if you can make her.
Anybody, you just release your sharing and she can pick up.
Okay, so she'll be able to pick up.
Yeah.
Anyway, with further ado, Dr. Perez, over to you.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about FAMA, and it's an honor to be able to work with you and learn all that you're doing. I mean, I'm just amazed at the great work you're already doing. I was actually on that caravan for the farm workers, and it was, just really rewarding for me because my parents were farm workers at one time. So thank you for doing that. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and share with you about FAMA. We've been in existence since 2011. And before that, I was the vice president on another foundation, and it was, all the work was being done in Southeast Asia. And it just came to me that, it was 100% volunteer, and I was paying my way, paying my hotels, paying my food, and I was going all the way to Asia, and we didn't speak the language, so we had to hire somebody, and it just made sense for me, that I should be doing something in Mexico where I'm fluent and I could be helping people there. And Gil and Rourke know that Puerto Vallarta is a very friendly place, and decided that since we've been going there for over 30 years, that it made sense to do our work there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And tell you about FAMA. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's our mission statement. I will let you go ahead and read it. I don't think I need to read it for you, but basically our goal is to help create self-reliant and self-sustainability. And we've been able to do that with a couple of communities, and we also help with educational, financial, and health. And I'll tell you about those projects in a minute. So the whole reason we started with our work in Puerto Vallarta is because of the people there. The people are very caring, very warm, very friendly, and they always treated us, like royalty there. They give so much of themselves, and so we wanted to be able to give back. And we wanted to work with the areas, the underserved areas, which there's plenty of. And originally we had thought that we would work all over Mexico. We thought, we're not all over Mexico. We were going to work all over Spanish-speaking countries. And then we realized once that we started doing our work there, that there was so much work to be done that we didn't need to go any further. And so we have been doing all of our work there. And we've expanded a little bit just with a project here and there, just like a one-time project, but mainly in and about and around Puerto Vallarta. So within Puerto Vallarta, 2 hours north and 2 hours south. And so we provide medical, financial, and educational support and medical assistance to staff. I'll talk about that a little bit. Like I said, we have timeshare there. We've been going to a place called it was called Costa Vida na Costa Sur for over 30 years. And we have been able to help some of the staff there. Impulsos de Águila, it's actually an umbrella for charities. So they have like 12 different charities under their umbrella that they help. And we didn't want to, and I say we, my brother-in-law, Mike Perez, is very much, even though I'm the founder and the president, he very much does most of the work because he lives in Puerto Vallarta 5 months out of the year, 5 to 6 months. And so we didn't want to, repeat anything. We didn't want to step on anybody's toes or anything. So we spoke to Cesar, who's the director of Impulsos de Águila, and asked him what would be the best thing to do in Puerto Vallarta. And he suggested that they already had, like toy drives. They had lots of different, they helped lots of different charities, orphanages. And he said in Puerto Vallarta, and actually north of Puerto Vallarta, he said that the South really needed some help. So he guided us there, and we asked him what we could do to help Impulsos de Águila. And the project that they had there was, one of them was providing depends for the elderly and the paraplegics. And he said, because the depends are so expensive, it's like $12 for a dozen. And, we know these people aren't working. They're not able to support themselves. And so they provide those for the elderly and the paraplegics, and asked if we could help with that. So we were glad to be able to do that. And we've been helping them since 2011. We provide we provide $800 worth of depends a year. And we actually now have a matching program so that if anybody purchase depends, we, whatever amount it is, we will match it. And then our goal was to start with villages, helping villages to become self-sustainable. But meanwhile, while we were looking for a village to support, we were hearing from other people saying, oh, this person needs help, that person needs help. And Lupe had severe rheumatoid arthritis. And as you can see, she, wasn't able to do anything. She had an autistic son she was trying to raise. She needed medications. She needed handicap equipment. So we ended up purchasing for her the wheelchair, all the bathroom stuff. We got her medications. We got her on, into a home because, as you can see, she wasn't able to do anything by herself. And she does have family, and the family was willing to help. So we were providing a portion of the payment for the home and her care, and then also paying for her medications and any medical work that was done for her. So unfortunately, we lost Lupe. She was our first project, and we started with her in 2012, and we lost her this last July. Not to COVID, just to, circumstances. And then, as I said, Costa Sur has been great to us. They're just lovely people, waiters, housekeepers. As I said, we care very much about the underserved. And one of the waiters has a daughter, Jacqueline, and Jacqueline has severe scoliosis. So as you can see the pictures there, that was Jacqueline when she was 4 years old. And she was going to a hospital in Guadalajara, and her dad had been taking her for a year already, and that's all they had on her was a brace, and her curvature, it kept curving and curving. And by the time that we took over, I found a Shriners Hospital in Mexico City, and they specialize in scoliosis for children. And got an appointment for her and her dad, and went with them, and they accepted her. And if you know that particular hospital, Shriners will pay for all medical expenses. So what FAMA paid and has been paying for 8 years already is flights, hotels, transportation, and for her and her father. Jacqueline lost her mother when she was 1.5 years in a car accident, and she does now have a stepmom, but her dad is her main caregiver, and he's the one that takes her. And so she's had 8 operations, and this bottom picture down here, as you can see, is now Jacqueline, and you can see she went from 40 degrees to 90 degrees, and her organs were being affected, and she couldn't breathe by the time we got her into Shriners Hospital. And she had to have, ended up having 8 operations, because at first they had put those titanium rods, and the titanium rods just kept poking out of her skin. And so they ended up putting screws all up and down her vertebrae. And that has worked. And she is now, as you can see, she looks like a normal, healthy child. She can do all activities. Before, she wasn't able to do anything. And the big to-do for her on her birthday was that she went on a jumpy house. And she's just a beautiful child, sunny disposition inside and out. You'd never know she has any pain or anything. She's just wonderful to work with. And she's scheduled to go back to her appointment in March. But we're taking care of her until she's 18. So she will be going to Shriners Children's Hospital until she's 18 years of age. And then if she does need more care than that, then we will have to find a specialist for her. Then there's Letty, and Letty was a housekeeper in Costa Sur. About 3 years ago, she was not able to work any longer, but she had started out with breast cancer, and then had a mastectomy, and then had to have a second mastectomy. And so we were sending her to Guadalajara Hospital, and she is gone for 25 visits and plus, and she's still going. She ended up developing throat cancer this year, and so unfortunately she continues to need to go to Guadalajara. They actually had given up on her for the cancer, but 3 years ago, and they said there was nothing else they could do for her. She's a fighter. She said, "No, they're not going to kill me. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be here for quite a while." And that was 3 years ago. And wow. Like I said, she's still battling it and taking care of her 80-year-old mother. She's a wonderful, strong woman. Just her and her mother. And then we finally found a village to work with, San Rafael. It's called San Rafael de los Morenos, and it is, you can see here's Puerto Vallarta, and then here's San Rafael. It's about 1.5 hours from Puerto Vallarta going south. And as I said, Mike, he's wonderful. He found a friend of a friend who found this somebody who was from this village in Puerto Vallarta, and they set up a meeting for us with the townspeople. Here they are down here. That's me when my hair was dark. and so he set up a meeting, and we had a meeting with them, and we got together and we figured out, what the town needed, and we were sitting there, we were making a list, trying to figure out, you know, what is your priority, what comes second, what comes third. And I had taken my cousin with me, who's a nurse, and she found out that 4 people that year had died from scorpion bites, stings, and so that was the first thing we started with. Actually, was we provided 5 doses of the anti-venom because they died on their way to the clinic, which was 45 minutes to an hour to get there. And so it only made sense if they had the anti-venom there, then, you know, nobody else will die, and nobody has since then. And so the first thing that they had said that they wanted was a road. When it was raining, they couldn't get to their homes because it was so muddy, and they were up on the hill, and the cars would just slide and they wouldn't be able to go to their homes. So we have what we call a 3-way partnership. We work with like the government, the nearest city. We work with the people, and then FAMA. And so what we did is we provided the materials, the cement, the water, you know, everything that they needed, we provided. And then the government provided the equipment, and the people did their work. So they did the work themselves. They created the road, they did the water, sewage.
Hold on.
Is there a question or something? No? Okay. And then we learned that the nearby town was trying to help them because FAMA was helping them. Then other towns wanted to get involved, like the nearest city for them. They wanted to get involved and they wanted to help out. And so they were going to hire a music teacher, and the music teacher was going to bring the instruments and teach the students either to become mariachis or to form a band. And we were really, you know, impressed by that. And so Mike and I asked, have they ever done anything like that before? And then that we found out that they had all of these sewing machines, and the women, and we call this group of women, we call them mujeres, that's their title. The mujeres had a teacher for a year, and it included all of these sewing machines. It included the space for a year, and they learned how to become seamstress. And they were showing us their work, and they had beautiful work. And so we asked them what their next plans were. Well, the teacher was gone, the year was up, the materials were gone, and some of the sewing machines were broken. So for us, this was perfect. And my brother-in-law loves to sew and knit and, you know, do all kinds of seamstress stuff. And so it was perfect for him. He was like, oh, you know, this would be great. This is the way we can help you to become self-sustainable. And so we provided material. We ended up renting a building for them. We added a bathroom, and they started selling uniforms nearby. And so then, and we have an annual fundraiser at Costa Sur, the timeshare, and we invited them to come, and they started selling their wares there. And that was so exciting for them. They made like $400, which is a lot of money for this little town. And so, you know, they really got pumped up about it, and they started making a lot more things. And they actually went international. Mike got them a contract to make tea towels for conferences. And then I got him a contract to do make golf bags for golf tournaments. And then we started having them make aprons, and we started selling all these things out here in the US and, you know, all over. And so to this day, they're on their own, and we're here for them, and we get together with them at every fundraiser in Puerto Vallarta. And we're still providing contracts for them. Just got another order for more golf bags for them. So, and this is 9 women that, which was, you know, did not go over well with the men at the beginning in Mexico, but they are very determined and they were going to do it regardless, and they're sticking to it, and they're doing a wonderful job in making money. So they're self-sustainable. And then we did education there, which, as you know, I'm an educator, and it's very exciting for me anytime we do education. And what we learned was that Guadalajara University was putting in the internet, and they were going to have virtual classes before any of us started this, right? Now we're all in virtual learning, and they started this back like probably 5 years ago. They needed the space, and they needed a bathroom. So we added a bathroom, and they needed some doors. So we were able to help them accumulate equipment and things that they needed, and paid for some of the technology. Then Cesar, who I was telling you about, who was the director of Impulsos de Águila, told us about this place, Horizonte de Paz, which is a treatment center for men with addiction. And as you can see there, this area over here, it has a roof, it's cement underneath, and then they have bunk beds. And at the time that we went to go visit, Cesar took us over there to go visit, Mike and I, and there was 50 men and only 40 beds. So the other 10 were sleeping on the cement floor. And so what we did is we created we replicated this. We purchased everything they needed. They built the bunk beds. They built storage lockers. They built the roof. They put in the cement. They did everything. All we did was supply the materials and the funding. And they started making bracelets. We gave them all everything that they needed, the beads, the yarn, everything they needed, and they started making bracelets and necklaces and selling them. And they supply their food that way. So they buy bags of rice, bags of beans, bunch of different foods. So in that way, we're still helping them, and we sell them at our fundraisers as well. And then we get to Graciano, which it says sustainable farming community, and that's because when we met them, this is right there, that's their meeting area, that roof right there, that's their meeting area. And basically they had homes that were just made of, materials that they found, just cardboard, whatever they found there. And then last year they had torrential rains, everything just was gone. They wiped out, they have nothing. And we had helped them to become farmers. Well, this year we were able to put water, and you look at these people here, and this is who was living there. And then we found out, and so we had only put in the water to help them become farmers, and they were growing everything to sell to the taco places, where they would grow the onions, the cilantro, the tomatoes, everything that they needed. We also gave them lemon trees and orange trees. And then, like I said, everything was wiped out. And then we found out, we started talking to the government and found out that there was actually 70 residents or 70 plots of land that were given to, they were all homeless, and they were given these plots of land if they could do something with it, and they would just pay the taxes. And they always paid their taxes on time. That's why we decided to work with this group, because we were shown quite a few villages, and we learned that they were responsible. So once we found out that there was 70 residents, the government got involved, and they hired engineers to help us put in the water system. So they now have a water system for all 70 residents. plus the farming area. So now they'll be continuing to grow. They weren't able to grow for 1 year, but they were growing watermelons and melons and, you know, food for themselves as well as food to sell. And I point out the building because this is also where their children learn. So this is their school. And I'm very excited, and I'm hoping to work with the Rotary to put in an actual school. They had nothing but broken down chairs, this little roof that they have there, and you know, no desk, no nothing. So that's actually what Mike's doing in Puerto Vallarta now is he's purchasing chairs and desks and whiteboards, and then we're hoping to build a school for them. Right now, the students are anywhere from kindergarten to junior high, and there's only one teacher, and the government is paying for the teacher and they're paying for the textbooks, and then FAMA is going to pay for everything else. We're going to, like I said, the materials. I'm actually collecting bilingual books. Puerto Vallarta, as many of you know, is a very touristy town, so we thought it would be, you know, a good idea for them to learn English as well. And then that way, you know, eventually they can get jobs in Puerto Vallarta. So I'm collecting bilingual books and tape recorders. I actually wrote 10 bilingual books myself, and they come with CDs. And so we figured if we can get the CD players, the children aren't, the teacher does not speak English, so the children are not going to be learning English from the teacher. Yet we hope to, you know, change that. But at the beginning, at least they can start to hear the CDs and hearing the language correctly, and hopefully, you know, learning from it, because as you all know, we all learn much better when we're younger. We're also working on putting electricity there. So the government is talking about putting the post up, and then we'll go from there. I don't know. We're looking at putting solar panels in the school and seeing what else we could do. And if we need to help put in the electricity, you know, we will do that as well. And then I talked about Costa Sur and our timeshare. Here's the place here. As you can see, you know, it's a beautiful location. There's 2 towers, there's one there, and then there's one here. And like I said, the people have been wonderful. The management is wonderful. They let us have an annual fundraiser there, which they pay for. They give us everything. They give us the venue, they give us the food, they give us the servers. They do everything. All we do is the presentation, and then we have a silent auction, and we have a raffle. And they do everything else, even the cleanup, and they help us with tables for setup for the mujeres, and for us, we take things for the silent auction. They're just wonderful, and they're just so grateful because we're helping their employees. We've also helped them with a few that, you know, one of the women that works there, her sister needed a wheelchair, somebody else needed a walker, you know, just to us, little things to them means a lot and are very expensive over there. Oh, and let me go back to Costa Sur. So Costa Sur this year, because of COVID, closed down in July. And it's not like here, they don't have, you know, unemployment checks. They can't stop their payments. They have to continue to pay everything. Their bills keep coming. So what FAMA did is for the first month, we gave them a $100 grocery gift card to all 113 employees. We gave them a $100 gift card. That way they could go and purchase the groceries that they needed. And then again, no, that was in May. And then in July, we gave them $130 to the employees that were still unemployed. So now 40% of the staff was back, but the other portion was not receiving anything. And so we gave them basically a paycheck for the month. And they were very grateful. So we gave it to the vulnerable, the sick, and the unemployed. And then once again, last month, we gave the same group, just the underserved, the ones that were not going to get any help, another $100. And as I said, they're, very grateful for it. They can't wait for us to go. We had planned another fundraiser in December, but that didn't happen. We weren't able to go because of COVID. And then Juan Carlos is also he was the bellhop from Costa Sur, and during COVID, he became ill and is now on dialysis. So he had kidney failure, ended up in the hospital. So we ended up, each time somebody from the hotel calls us and says, hey, can you help this person or that person? And so we said, of course, we'll help Juan Carlos. So Juan Carlos is he lives in El Tuito, which is south about 45 miles, and it takes him about an hour to go to downtown Puerto Vallarta, where he has his medical needs. And he has to go twice a week, and it's $20 in a taxi because he can't go on a bus because he's vulnerable. So $20 one way in a taxi and $20 back. So $40, twice a week is a lot of money for somebody in Mexico, anybody here as well, right? So we have taken over his transportation, and we've also helping him with some of the equipment and things that he needs. So anyways, just put down some ways that, you can help is we have auctions, and we of course take donations and pledges, and we have fundraisers, and then we ask, people to help us with patronizing the businesses in town that help us, which Aki is one of them. We have, I'll talk about that in a little bit, but what I really want to point out is that everything is 100% volunteer. So we have a working board, all of us work, and then we all give to FAMA, and 100% of the money goes to our projects, which is rare. And so, we just want you to know that is a priority for us. So all money that is given to the foundation goes directly to the projects. I mean, we don't, even our donation letters are all done by email, so that we don't have to buy stamps, we don't have to purchase anything. Everything goes to our projects. And then, so I just want to say thank you, and I will skip this part because the board members don't want to age in their pictures. As you can see that my picture there, I'm much younger there, and everybody wants to stay younger, but you know what? The reality is that we are not young, as you can see, and we're doing wonderful work. And it's family and friends. Here's my best friend, who is the vice president. This is my cousin, who's the treasurer. This is my sister, who's the secretary, my husband, who is on the board as well. And here's Mike Perez, my brother-in-law, and he's another cousin, and then another friend. And we just wanted to do good work, and so we're choosing to do it through FAMA. So I just want to thank you, and I hope that we can partner in the future.
Very good, and perfect timing.
Good.
Got that right at 30 minutes.
I practiced it. I'm just I wish.
Yeah, no, that was really great. I really appreciate all the work that you're doing. So we now have 15 minutes for questions, or we could also talk about how we might partner with you. So I don't know, let's start with questions, see if anybody has any questions.
Hi, Prince this side. I represent Predex. Rishi is also here. We've started this organization to uplift the lives of LGBTQIA globally. We've recently kicked off our operations. We've just initiated a program called an Ideathon, where we are inviting members in India, the community members in India, as well as allies from across the globe to join in and show support. The idea around the Ideathon is we put up some themes so people could come in, and if they have an idea of a business that they could, sorry, there was some disturbance on the line. If they had an idea of a business that they would like to run with, we'll coach them on how to bring it to a presentable format so that they can go around for investments, seeking investments. And we're also discussing with a few VC firms that we'll be bringing to the finale. Winning ideas will be incubated as startups by us at PrideX, as well as the parent organization, which is Prince Multiverse Inc., headquartered in Toronto. And for the participants, we're extending life and career coaching sessions. Not only that, we're also discussing with some edtech firms. If that partnership lines up, we'll offer them holistic growth tracks, which will involve mental health, anything and everything around life and career. So that just wanted to share that. If at all, I'll be happy to share the link to the event. If at all you guys would like to join in, show support, maybe even talk about certain topics or subjects or issues there, we'd be happy to have you. And then really loved the initiatives that you've taken on. More than happy to see how we can collaborate, further there and bring impact on both sides. So yeah,
Great.
just wanted to
So
share.
how did you find out about us?
Rishi, he's the one that brought me here. Rishi, do you want to unmute yourself? And
Yeah, so I'm Rishi. I live in San Jose. I'm part of the LGBT circle here. I was invited to the Rainbow Rotary Club some time ago, and I haven't formally joined yet, but I have been observing the Facebook page and just feeling happy. I was in a big career kind of mess, I guess, myself over the last year or so. So it wasn't right time for me to participate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so maybe we should talk offline about how we can connect. So
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely.
So I'll stick my email in the chat if you want to contact me directly, because I'm the
Sure.
one that has speakers come in, and it might be good to, talk about having you come in and speak sometime.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll send that to everybody. All right. Thank you for speaking up. Appreciate it. And thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you as well. So much good and wonderful work for so many people in need. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate
Patricia.
the work that you're doing as well. Go ahead.
I was just going to observe, Patricia, I was so touched by such specific stories, and it can be so overwhelming to try and figure out how to plug in and really make a difference. And your organization is doing that at all different levels, from the very personal story of the woman and her mom and her battle against cancer, and all the way up to building a school and how that comes together. I think it's brilliant. It's a wonderful success story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too that, what you learned about yourself about working in Asia and not speaking the language, and, you had something that you had passion around that you realized over time, right? And why not do it in the place where you had a timeshare and had been spending time?
Well, I was kind of inducted by my professor. I went on a trip. I actually did my dissertation in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, and it was a combined effort. We went, and she would take 30 students, and we would have to take only a backpack, and all the suitcases were, for the schools and for the kids and for everybody. And it was a foundation called the Windhorse Foundation. We would take medical stuff and everything. And so I was inducted to join the board, and I became the vice president, and we did wonderful work, and I talked to the president. I said, I did it for 7 years. And I said, this is great. I love it. But, it's very expensive. And I think I'm going to go to Mexico. And he said, go for it. And yeah, it just all came together.
Very cool.
I'd like to make a comment. Well, first off, Patricia, thank you so much for the presentation tonight. We did learn a lot more about FAMA. But also for those of you that don't know is that each Rotary Club has an international section in it where we look to have a project to do. So when we learned about FAMA, because they are good friends already of myself and my husband, Gil, who is on the call here too. But we've heard about their work and we've helped out a little bit, but it just seemed to be a ready-made project sitting there that we can help and raise funds for. So we're just in the planning stages now. And as she mentioned, Mike's in Mexico and he's kind of an engineer by when he had a work life before, but he's putting together a list of building materials, what it'll actually cost to build the schoolroom or school. And so we're going to start meeting on a more regular basis and try to figure out, a budget. And then we'll do a fundraiser. Maybe it'll last 6 months or a year or so, and try to have a goal of something concrete that we can raise funds for to help the village build their own school. So, stay tuned, everyone, if anyone's interested. We have plenty of room on the committee. Sandra is actually the chair. If you wanted to add anything, Sandra, if you're there, please do. But
no, I don't have anything to add. You did a pretty good summary of it. Thank you, Rourke.
You bet. So anyway, I wanted to say is, I think, Patricia, did you have posted the FAMA website someplace?
No, but I can do that.
Folks, maybe you could put that in the chat. But if you miss them this time and you want to help out, just stay tuned to us and our e-news. Sign up for our e-news if you'd like, because we'll have more information on once we start developing the program and whatnot. And you can all get more involved. And if you want to join our club and join that committee, that'd be great too.
And Mary just mentioned.
I'd love to. I'd love to join.
Yeah, I saw that, Mary. I was going to say something about that. Mary volunteered.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Thank you for all you do. I really appreciate all you do. He's wonderful. He's been very involved.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So I see a road trip to
Yeah.
Puerto Vallarta.
Come on, let's go.
I was on a cruise and stopped in Puerto Vallarta and watched the turtles up north of Puerto Vallarta. Watch the turtles go into the ocean. But that's my only experience of Puerto Vallarta, so ready to go back.
Oh, like I said, caring, loving, warm people. You'd love it.
I'm just curious, Patricia, the overhang that you showed us where they're having their classes, is that where you're actually going to make the room or school, or you're going to have to report the foundation and create another site?
We're going to create another site. Yeah, that's for them. That's their meeting area, even though they use it for the children. But that's where we meet. So like when we go down there, that's where we meet. That's where we have our meetings with them. And so we'll create a different site. We'll actually put a building, and we would like to start, with a classroom and then continue to add classrooms, because like I said, although there was only 12 families when we first started working with them, then there was 15, and then we found out there's actually 70 residents. So there's 70 families. So they're finding out that the water's there, the electricity's coming, and the school's coming. They'll be coming to move there permanently.
So Patricia, I was curious about how do you do the fundraising? I know you had a fundraiser in Mexico at the hotel, but other than that, I believe there is a website where people can buy elder care or something like that you mentioned. It was not very clear.
No, we don't have a website where you can purchase it. On our website, you can donate to a project if you want. You can do it that way. We have different fundraisers. So like the one we have in Puerto Vallarta is an annual one. We have a golf tournament that's an annual one. We have a wine and tapas fundraiser. We had, I don't know if any of you know Tulio Flores. He's an artist in San Jose, and he held a fundraiser with 40 artists, and 40% of the proceeds went to FAMA. I have an artist, a jeweler artist, that she makes her own jewelry, and she sells her jewelry, and 50% of the profit goes to FAMA. And it's usually at events. And so we have all different kinds of events. I have a birthday fundraiser every year, and we have.
Yeah, very nice. You're doing a great work. I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I just put the foundation's donation site in the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you.
If you could also post it on the social media channel, then it's easy to forward it.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. We'll do a recap of this call with
Thank
a
you.
link to the video.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we would love to put together a trip where, we can get people together and go and help, with the building, or help, construct something. That would be wonderful.
We're ready to travel.
I know.
Overdue, well overdue.
Everybody across the globe is. We're all tired of being locked away.
Yeah.
Right,
no kidding.
right.
Yes.
Mhm.